Back in 2019, you saw something special was about to happen to Tesla with the Model 3 and all that. Do you see the same pattern like you saw back in 2019 now?
One day after the Q2 earnings call, I thought about that in my mind to evaluate the situation and see if I should continue to invest in Tesla. I think they're working out the technicality and how to merge and while being able to handle Tesla China. I think that's the only thing.
The two reasons why they want to buy Tesla today. First, they asked about the self-driving, then they asked about the gas price.
If it comes down to one reason, I believe those legacy manufacturers doesn't realize people buying decision will eventually because of whether the car can drive itself or not. I don't think they believe in it yet.
2-3 years time, if your car doesn't have any FSD capability, any autonomous capability, you're not selling that car, period. If you want to get a Tesla now, you have to wait until next year to take delivery. Like that's
What?
how 8 months ago you predicted Tesla stock could be around 575 to 600 by end of this year. Do you still think it's gonna hit 575 to 600 still by end of this year?
I think I will have to adjust it down to like
Joseph, or should I say Shrimp Tesla Long, that's his @ symbol at X. I recommend all of you guys to follow him. Links all in the description, YouTube, X. By now, if you guys don't know, he's a very, very heavy Tesla investor. And I think it's important to have this podcast because there's a lot of anger and frustration in the market. And, you know, something about Joseph that I want everybody to know is that he went all in on Tesla in 2019. And he is one of the guys that when I interviewed him, he said something very interesting. He said that I couldn't fall asleep because I didn't own enough Tesla shares. I've never heard anything like that before. I've always heard the other way around. So that was something that always stuck with me with Joseph. And he gives really good insights at times like this. And that's why I brought him on again to discuss about Tesla, you know, the SpaceX, the Tesla SpaceX merger. The last time we did a podcast, it was back in December. We talked about price targets and stuff. So I want to know your thoughts on this by end of this year. And we have a lot to discuss today. Thank you for joining me. How are you doing, Joseph? You just came back from Japan. So sheesh, welcome back.
I'm very happy to join again. Very refreshed after 2 months in Japan. Now I can back to talk about Tesla, build my Lego, and live my life here in the US.
Ooh, welcome back. Welcome back. It's always a good podcast. It's always a good time when you're here. So let's just get down to this. Back in 2019, I want to start with this. Back in 2019, you saw something special was about to happen to Tesla with the Model 3 and all that. And as I mentioned earlier, you couldn't fall asleep because you didn't own enough of Tesla shares, that's never happened to anybody. So something was calling. There was a calling to you. And then you were right. The rest is history. Do you see the same thing happening today? Do you still see this inevitably, I didn't butcher that word, but do you see this happening again in 2026? 7 years later with the stuff coming with the robo-taxis, the bots, cyber cabs, the next S-curves. Do you see the same pattern like you saw back in 2019 now?
This question comes to me from you, and before this question comes to you, one day after the Q2 earnings call, I thought about that in my mind to evaluate the situation and see if I should continue to invest in Tesla. So it brings me back to my initial idea, how I see this will play out. I expect initially, back in 2019, it will likely take until 2030, which is like around 10 years, to play out this 10x potential with electric vehicle. And then for the next 10 years, 2031 to 2040, it will be the time about ramping up and fully recognize the potential of robotaxi. That's another 10 to 20x. And then the third wave is going to be Optimus robot, another 10x to 20x opportunity, 2040, 2050. I know my timeline is way longer than other people, but I just want to draw a more realistic view on how really difficult technology will happen in reality. Usually it takes about 7 to 10 years for it to mature, commercialize, and make real money, right? To scale it up. So I look at my overall plan. Okay, plan to 20x every 10 years. How am I doing so far? From 2019 to 2026, I already 20x. So I'm a little bit ahead of the game, right? A little bit,
Yeah.
not only on track, but a little bit ahead. And then do I have to worry about robotaxi not rolling out? Well, I have my full self-driving Cybertruck. I'm driving every day. I'm seeing the progress. I'm seeing the inevitability, meaning it may not be happening in the next few months, but I don't see a situation where robotaxi is completely like dead in the water and not able to launch. So to me, that scenario, the likeliness of that is really low. So my second wave, I'm still seeing it happen. If it happens in 2026, 2027, great. I'm still kind of ahead of schedule because I don't see it ramping until 2030. Remember my timeline? So I'm still ahead of schedule. I already 20x my initial investment. So I have some buffer to play around. So I always talk about staying power. I'll be able to stay in this stock, even though short term is very volatile, a lot of negative sentiment toward Elon behavior with the company. But if you zoom out just a little bit, you realize that along the way, since the company is founded, it has always been this, right? Elon has always been a factor into the stock price and volatility. Sometimes we say something good, sometimes we say something bad. We feel bad about it, we feel good about it. At the end of the day, it really comes down to future earning potential for the company. And I still see that we are, based on my schedule, is still on track because I see it happening around 2030 and beyond. So I'm happy about it. Of course, I did this evaluation again after Q2 earning because Q2 earning call wasn't that good, to be honest with you. I feel like lacking some solid timeline for robotaxi ramp. I'm very kind of number person. I want somebody to tell me, hey, by this end of 2026, we aim to have, say, 50,000 vehicle robotaxi out there, 30,000. Some target number would be great. But I think Ashok give us a number like 10% per week. I'm not sure based on unsupervised mile. I'm pretty sure it's based on unsupervised mile, which is a good number, but it's still yet to be determined how the ramp is going from Q2 to Q3. I guess we find out in Q3 how that 10%, is it on track or is it off track? But other than that, from the big picture point of view, I'm still happy that this company is execute accordingly, even though we may not have a lot of insight because robotaxi is a very sensitive business, right? You don't want anybody running into any major accident because we'll see the headline news all day, right? So I can understand that concern. So with that said, I feel like my second wave is still being played out ahead of time. That's why I'm not extremely concerned. I'm still invested. I did play some option around the earning call, knowing that after earning, most likely will drop a little bit. So as a result of that, I actually gained some more share by doing that little trade of mine. That's how it is.
Yeah. And then after the Q2 earnings, it just plummeted down because everyone wasn't. We didn't get the guidance that we want. It was just an encouragement. And here's the thing. I'll say this: like I went all in on Tesla in 2020, a year after you did, because of the robotaxi and self-driving thesis. For me, I love what I'm seeing. I love seeing all these TikTokers and Instagram people who are Tesla owners, are not in Tesla community, but they are praising how amazing self-driving is and how, they're saying that they'll never buy another car unless it self-drives again. So
that's me.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's so many of them coming out and they're mind blown. They're going like, this thing is, how can this thing drive? And that's becoming the number one reason why Tesla is selling a lot of Teslas now. Of course, gas is one. Gas is extremely expensive now. But the second reason is the self-driving, the fact that you can just sit back and just press a button, the thing drives itself. It's something that once you experience and once you get used to, you cannot go back to it. Like I made a post, it was controversial, but I think it's going to happen, that full self-driving, the monthly rate will increase when this thing becomes unsupervised or once they reach a certain level of percentage of adoption, like 30% or 50%. The thing is, everyone came out and said, majority of people came out and said that, no, if it goes to 199 or 149, I'll just drive. No, you won't. I'm sorry, you won't drive. You're not gonna drive. You're gonna you say that now. You're gonna cancel your subscription for 2 days. You're gonna be like, oh, I can't do it. It's worth it. Screw it. I'll go back. It was controversial, and they pushed back, and I said I'm willing to bet my whole life savings on that you're not gonna go back to driving. And I think Tesla's gonna once they do increase it, it's gonna be most likely on a tier based, and probably gonna be a package with insurance and other things. So it's not going to be like you being ripped off or whatever it is. There's gonna be packages that'll be given to you, which I think it's more than fair. Seeing my thesis now coming to life, and seeing the signals, yes, Elon and Tesla, they're not really telling us what's going on. Like for Optimus, they're gone dark on that. We don't know what's going on with that. We can discuss about that. But for the robotaxi, just look at what they're doing. Like they're in 22 or 23 out of the 50 states, and I think they have 2,200 cyber cabs just in those states in parking lots getting things ready. We just saw they got a permit for Nevada.
Yeah,
I think they asked for 5,500, but they got 10, I think, right? But it's a step forward, and I do expect other states to give them permits, or the NHTSA gives the federal outline, so it can bypass the states, right? But when you look at these signals and seeing what's going on, they're not sitting back. Like, do you think that Elon is purposely, I don't think so, but or holding Tesla back because he wants, for SpaceX to buy it cheaper? Like, do you think that?
I don't think so. I think legitimately is how ready FSD is for commercialized unsupervised service. I don't think it's sandbagging. To me, it's all about technical, how ready it is. I think Elon also mentioned that the cybercab required to be tested in more testing in different regions and gain more experience and mileage out there. If they're sandbagging, I don't think they need to ramp up cybercab so early. They can do it like next year. They can simply say, well, we're still doing manufacturing verification. We're not ready to ramp. No, but they're ramping up the hardware. You're not going to make a large number of hardware unless you know the software is going to be ready at any given time, and you have to be ready to ship the car. I don't see it being sandbagging.
That's where the frustration is among Tesla investors. They're saying that
totally comes down to how ready FSD is for safely drive all the customer from a passenger from one end to another without a lot of hassle and concern, like endless loop or park in the wrong place, that kind of crap. I think that's it.
I think so too. But a lot of Tesla investors are not, not all. I think long-term Tesla investors, I think they're fine. But the ones that are, that's been in it for the past 3-4 years, they're going like, a lot of anger and frustration. And, I understand that, because in 2025, Elon said that by and this was the guidance that we wanted to hear in Q2 of 2026. But, I think he learned not to say it. But he said it last year in Q2, saying that 50% of all the US would be covered by robotaxi. So people can, he didn't say that they'll be operational for 50% of the population to use it. It'll just be there that 50% of the population could use it. That I think we're kind of seeing it now with the cybercab entering with so many states. I think that's what he meant. Of course, it's 8 months late, but that's fine. But I think Elon being very, like, you heard the Q2 earnings call of Tesla. In my view, is encouraging. But when you compare it to SpaceX's Q2 earnings call, it was just like, hey, bro, Tesla's was depressing of Q2. Like, he was just like, we need more time, all this stuff. And a lot of Tesla investors are like, yeah, screw it, because we need more time. How long do you need? Another 5 years, another 2 years, another 10 years? Of course, I'm not going to wait forever, right? So the frustration is coming from that, the anger and frustration. Of course, the stock being flat for 5 years. What do you say to these investors? I want to know your point of view, because you've been in it for a long time, and I think you're still adding to your stock position, if I'm not mistaken, your Tesla stock position after you've 20x. So
I bought a few more shares this morning.
Oh, there we go.
Anyway, just that when you take Elon's message to the public, you just have to take it with a grain of salt. He's usually say something because he want to motivate the team to accomplish a very tough schedule. So yeah, you probably don't want to trust in his timeline too much. Otherwise, it's going to get burned. So I personally don't try not to take it too hard what he say too much, but look at the actual reality. How many car out there? How is the production going? Is it really ramping? Are they producing vehicle? Are they still trying to have the vehicle out there testing? Look at the reality. Don't look at what he promised or try to accomplish with his team by saying certain lofty goal. Because if you read the book, you know that a lot of the goal seems impossible, but he turned impossible into reality. It's just really late sometimes. So with a schedule like that, robotaxi is such a big project. It's good to give maybe 6 months to 1 year lead time, like flexibility. Maybe it can come 6 months ahead, or it could come 6 months later. So don't be tied to a specific date, because you will encounter a lot of disappointment. Don't focus too close. The near-term target is hard.
Elon's timeline is not the best, but I mean, again, it would have been nice for him to give us some good guidance. He didn't, but let's see what happens in the next earnings call. Hopefully he can be more upbeat and give us some good information. It was interesting. I mean, there was many other things that happened in the earnings call. I'll touch up on that. I do want to mention one topic here. Optimus. What that's gone dark. I mean, yes, Elon said that he doesn't want to show it because other competitors would copy it frame by frame. He said this in multiple earnings reports. We know that they demolished SNX in Fremont. The thing is ready. I guess the factory is getting ready to build 1 million bots starting end of the year, but we haven't seen any prototype or anything. It's gone completely dark. Like, what do you think is going on here? Because I mean, I'm in it for the robotaxi and FSD. I care more about that, but the Optimus is something that a lot of new Tesla investors are all in for. What are your thoughts on that?
Again, I look at what being released from Tesla. So yesterday they post a Optimus internship program thing, talk about how people, hey, you should join Tesla internship where you can work on the robot and stuff. So you can see the Fremont line is up, is already created in the process of created. So and then there's a factory in Giga, Texas, the Optimus factory, the huge piece of land is aggressively being built. If you don't believe that the robots is coming, they're not going to build a factory. They're not going to hire people. That means it's really, really like grinding time. They're really making it happen. As far as why we don't hear about it, because I feel like Elon, get burned many times. The moment you promise something, you don't deliver or you're late, you're going to get yelled at. So what happened is he rather not talk about it. And then when you not talk about it, people say, why the hell are you not talk about it, right? Because to me, I believe Optimus is going to be something beyond 2035 for it to be recognized in revenue. So I don't really pay that much attention to the near term. How is it going? What I see is they're building a factory. That means they believe they can have a commercialized robot in the next few years. Otherwise, they're not going to build a factory. So that's all the information I depend on. As far as how ready is it ready to have a demo this year or early next year, I don't know. But I believe what I see, which is like they're building a factory in anticipation of the robot. So those are signs I try to focus on, not the daily grind. How ready is the hand? How many degrees of operation? They know what needs to be done. They know how what needs to be done. The robot has to be able to walk in different terrain. The hand has to be sophisticated enough to do really dedicated tasks, and also have a longevity on, not like break down in 20 minutes. You have to be able to work and maintain in a long period of time. And then the brain, which is coming from XAI and Tesla together, work on it. So all these are working behind the scene. We may not see, the blossom of the plan, but behind the scene, the roots are being planned right now.
I see that too. I'm seeing a lot of jobs coming, a lot of job offerings coming for the Optimus engineering of that. So they're definitely working on that as well. Again, for me, I'm more curious about the robotaxi FSD. The bots can come, whenever. The Optimus is something that I was curious to know what your thoughts are. So interesting. Now, 8 months ago, You predicted Tesla stock could be around 575 to 600 by end of this year. Of course, my price target end of this year is still 700. I haven't changed at all. Do you still think it's going to hit 575 to 600 still by end of this year?
No, I think it's gonna. I think I will have to adjust it down to like mid 400 because of the negative sentiment right now with the retail investor, the unknown uncertainty with the merger. I think it's not gonna fly very high. So if you feel like you're underweight in Tesla, it's a good time to buy in the 300. That's why I'm still buying. But I don't think it's gonna reach 575 unless we need a few clarity, which is like how good, how fast, what's the timeline for robotaxi robot? Is it on track? Would that be like having a release timeline here? The merger, are we merging or are we not merging? So many people talk about it, and Elon never deny it. That tells you something. To me, I put it 79%. We're gonna do a merger, but how soon, how far off? I have no idea. I know people talk about potentially like Tesla Mama mentioned could be like as early as next week. I'm all for it, but I just don't know the timeline. So I try not to let that affect my purchase decision because I believe ultimately whether the company perform well or not depends on their own productivity and future earning. Merger is good, but you take on an additional task, additional risk, additional potential revenue. Yeah, but I don't pay too much attention to the merger, to be honest with you, because I don't know this real until it's been announced, right?
Do you want a Tesla and SpaceX merger eventually?
Yeah, man, of course, absolutely.
Yeah, SpaceX, they've IPO'd, and of course we saw the Q2 earnings of that earnings call, earnings report. Elon was pumped up. I mean, 1 trillion revenue by 2030. Let's just say 500 billion. That's nuts, going from 18 billion of 2025 to 500 billion. And it came from this thing that none of us saw, which was the AI compute. No one saw that they can rent it out for such a high price and at a high gross profit margin as well, at a high margin. And, they're going to capitalize on that from, I think they're at 1.4 gigawatts. They want to go up to 20 gigawatts, which if they do and they rent it out at the current rate, which I'm not too sure, it may be at the current rate, that'll be $1 trillion, which is nuts, which is just mind-boggling, to be honest with you.
Another reason I like the merger, because at the end of the day, it really comes down to the leadership team and also the engineering team, how well they work together, how you put all the geniuses and brains together to get something done. Yeah, Tesla team is great, but imagine having the SpaceX team together to figure something out. Something you may, like, I don't know, end-to-end robotaxi service may need some more brains. I don't know, Optimus may need some more engineering power. So I feel like those are the stuff I care about, putting all the resources together rather than having, their own silo, working separately.
I'm seeing a lot more Tesla investors on X after seeing what SpaceX can pull off. They're becoming more and more warmer to the idea of SpaceX and Tesla merging. First, they're like, no, never. Tesla has more upside in the next 2 to 3 years. Then they see that, wait a minute, SpaceX is going to be 300 billion in 2 years, 3 years time. I think they're seeing this and they're like, you know what? I think it's a good idea to merge. When Alexander Merz, when she gave me this idea back, it was in February of this year, I was like, whoa, you really think they're going to merge? And I was all for it because SpaceX has good potential. But now seeing what things could happen, I mean, you gotta be, but of course the conditions have to be fair to us. Like, I'm thinking that, again, my price target is 700. I think we could hit that if a merger gets announced sometime this year, because I think Elon has a window of opportunity to merge this thing either next year or the year after that at the latest. I think if it goes beyond that, I think it's going to be
within the Trump administration, right? You mean?
Yeah, during the Trump administration. And right now, if you look at Tesla and SpaceX stocks, they are pretty much close in valuation. How are you going to buy out? How are you going to merge Tesla to SpaceX when, let's say, SpaceX next year is double what it is now, and let's say Tesla is a little bit over 2 trillion? Now you have this big gap. Now, if you're Elon, oh man, I got to either make it 50-50 or I got to give a very high premium to Tesla investors for them to accept this thing. Because believe it or not, it's not like SpaceX, it's not like Elon that has so much voting rights in SpaceX that he can just say, oh, I can vote and done. I can, I can vote myself and that's it. It's a yes or no. That's it. But, I only own 20% of Tesla. There's investors that need to vote yes or no for that. And if the deal sucks, they're not going to do it. So they got to do it as soon as possible, in my opinion.
I think they're working out the technicality and how to merge and while being able to handle Tesla China. I think that's the only thing. I don't know. To me, I still don't understand how it will work out. Maybe spin that off as its own entity and then some other company buy it. I don't know. I feel like that could be the hurdle. What do you think?
No, I think, well, I mean, look, I don't think they're going to sell it or anything. I think what's going to happen here is, well, if you look at other defensive companies in China that belong to the US, like Boeing, for example, and there's some other companies that, is UK, that's, for their national defenses, and they're there. They just separate it. That's it. They say, okay, all you do is just cars and energy and mega packs. You have no access or solar, right? You just keep it separate. You don't, we have no access to the Chinese database, and you don't have, access to the American database. You're happy. And you benefit from the economy of scale of selling whatever it is. And this particular separation that has nothing to do with SpaceX and Tesla or this merged company has nothing to do. But Bubur Mama had a very interesting point. She said that this article was placed because signal to China that, hey, we're doing this and we're not going to sell it. So it was pretty interesting what she said. But I don't think Tesla is interested in selling, and I just don't see it happening either. And this was a concern from beginning that it's like, okay, Tesla China merging with SpaceX, and China doesn't like SpaceX. But they can easily separate it in a way that it's its own thing. But still, the benefits of that goes under the combined entity of Tesla and SpaceX called X, right? But the economy of China benefits from the sales and the labor and economies of that. I think that's the best way to put it. I think that's the only way to put it, in my opinion.
Do you think it will be premium or just a one-to-one merge?
There has to be a premium. I think there has to be at the least a 50-50, right? So both have to be valued the same, or a good premium needs to be given, because this window of opportunity, if Elon is seeing the projections that by end of this year, SpaceX is going to be at $100 billion run rate, and then he sees that this thing can hit $1 trillion by 2030, maybe even 2029, then if you put these economies together, if you just do the math, SpaceX could be worth over 4, 5, 6 trillion in the next couple of years or so. Tesla could be worth maybe 2 trillion, 2.5 trillion during the same time because of how slow robotaxi is and all that kind of stuff, right? So you're gonna have this big gap, and it's like, well, it's either I buy the thing I bring it up at I pay a premium that's make it 50-50, which that's not gonna happen if the big gap is like that, or pay a good premium of, like, let's say 50% premium. If it's at like 2 trillion, buy it at 3 trillion, and get everyone's vote on. That's the only way I see it. If it gets dragged on for too long, we'll know in November in the voting if there's going to be a merger or not, because it could. We just need the announcement. That's it. We just need the announcement, and then it could merge sometime next year. That's it.
Another telltale sign. Remember, Tesla used to have a CFO left the company, Zach Sarkon? They never replaced the guy. If you intend to keep Tesla as a separate company, you're going to hire a new CFO or replace a CFO. But he just promoted the second guy to be the CFO for now, potentially because, hey, I'm going to merge the company anyway. Why the hell am I hiring another CFO? Use the guy. Let him do the job. And by the time the merger, and then the final CFO will be maybe Michael from SpaceX. We don't know. But the fact that he didn't hire a new CFO means
the current one is Vaibhav Tenja, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he was promoted. He was appointed to it.
Yeah, he's yeah.
Interesting. Do they usually? Do they have to hire a new CFO from outside? I mean, they could do it internally, right?
I think several earning call ago is like, yeah, we're gonna look for a replacement, something like that, but they never look for a replacement. It's just use that guy's
They just-
FC. I
You
don't
know
know.
what was interesting? This merger topic is very fascinating because, as you mentioned, Elon never denied it. He's like,
Yeah, it's so
he never
weird, man.
denies it. It's very weird because you saw Wall Street Journal, all this other stuff. Instantly, fake news. No, not gonna happen. But this has been talked about so many on just everywhere, been talked
Everywhere,
all
dude.
across everywhere. And I bet Elon's just sitting back, he's just like smirking. He's like, okay, now, or the cat's out of the bag. I'm not gonna confirm anything, but
Wait. Also, if he actually don't think about doing it now, he will say, well, eventually we'll do it, but for now we have other focus, right? You can say something like that to kind of roll the ball down the hill, worry about later. But he never say that. He never even deny or or delay it later. Yeah, eventually we'll do it, but not now. He never even say anything like that. That means
he did it.
To me, it happening in the background. It just I cannot talk about it. Something like that.
Yes, it's definitely can't confirm or deny. What was very interesting in Tesla's Q2 earnings call is that he had his attorney there, his counsel there.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Why
would you have your why?
Also, why would you take a question like that? You don't have to take a question.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Oh, there's another one. There's another. After the article talk about the China Tesla China potentially spin-off thing. Remember Elon respond to that in a exposed. He say this never come up in the conversation. Oh, you already have the conversation. What conversation would this ever come up? I don't know. Could it be a merger? Right?
Oh my God! No, I mean there's a lot of signs. There's a lot of signs that keeps pointing to an eventual merger is going to happen. I just don't want Tesla investors to lose on it. You know what I mean? I don't want us to hold the low end of the stick here. That's all. That's it. I just don't want that to happen. I think a lot of investors would be happy if the stock goes up to 600 as the premium at the current price, right? 600. They'll accept it. Now, I'm sure there's gonna be a lot of comments on this podcast in the comments below, going like, "No, 1,000 or none." But they're gonna say that for sure. But look at the potential of SpaceX, right? You're going to benefit a lot from that, and then who knows how long this robotaxi thing is going to take, right? Who knows how long Optimus is going to take? That could take longer than what SpaceX is going to do. And once the robotaxi stuff does happen, you're gonna benefit from it too because it goes to the bottom line. So. I mean, but I just don't want us to have the low end of the stick, and hopefully that there's going to be a good proposal that gives us very good, favorable outcomes for us for this merger and stuff.
There are plenty of catalysts if you merge with SpaceX. You got the AI data center revenue, right? You got all the launch revenues, Starlink, Star Mobile. There's a defense contract. There are plenty of catalysts we can talk about. So to me, a merger is a good thing. Come down to evaluation, obviously. Yeah.
And so many signs that it points to it. And we got so many smart people in the field, Chamath, Kathy Woods, and all these guys saying that it's going to happen eventually. And Chamath is usually right when it comes to some of the Tesla stuff. Elon has praised him for that. So Tesla, SpaceX stuff, right? He pays for that. But he keeps saying it keeps converging. Everything's converging. Everything's coming together, and it makes sense for him to merge everything eventually. It really does make sense to it. So, yeah, it's a very fascinating topic, and let's see what happens. Maybe who knows? Maybe Boomer Mama said by the week after of when Cursor and SpaceX merges, maybe there may be an announcement of it, which could be by the time this video comes out. I don't know. We'll see what. We'll see, right? Now, SpaceX is now IPO. Are you buying any SpaceX stock?
Whenever I have some income from my option trading, I purchase some SpaceX. So yeah, I purchased along the way. I did it 2 days ago.
I've been thinking of buying some SpaceX. I've been buying slowly here and there because, again, if SpaceX's trajectory, if even quarter of that is right, that's going to be high, very high valuation for that.
Yeah, I just like the way they present the earning call. Really uplifting and also energizing and full of opportunity. So I feel like, yeah, maybe it's time to buy some SpaceX too.
I mean, I hope the timeline is right. I hope it's not like Elon saying that's going to happen and then it doesn't happen, or it's delayed.
Yeah, but the CFO from SpaceX also iterate the same message. So not just Elon saying it, also the CFO kind of echoed the same message, which is nice.
What are you looking forward to the most for the next 6 to 12 months when it comes to Tesla? I'm curious to know your thoughts here.
I'm anxiously trying to, listen to Q3 earning and see how robotaxi ramping. I think a day ago, Las Vegas already approved the Cybercab.
Yeah.
So let's see how it goes. That's give us a sign how ready they are with this service. Exciting. Yeah. And also the FSD Take-Rate. FSD Take-Rate is important.
Oh man, this take rate, I think it's amazing. It's I think right now we're at 15 and 15.3% FSD take rate across nearly 10 million vehicle fleet, or sorry, 9.7 million fleet. But I think next quarter we could be up in the 16s for sure, 16.5, 16.4. I think there's going to be a lot of conversions, conversions.
Man, I'm looking for that critical mass where people by default will just enable full self-driving as a way to ride, not drive. To me, I'm no longer drive, I ride. That's what I do.
Yes, we're seeing that. It's quite funny because my brother was in Toronto. He's back now, and he's like, man, I'm not paying for gas. I'm like, okay, here, get a Tesla. And I couldn't get him the hardware 4 ones because they were all rented out. So he got the 2020 version of this 2020, and he happened to get version 14 Lite, and he's just like, oh man, this is. Yeah, it's not 100% perfect yet for that. I'm like, look, the new ones are perfect. They're nearly perfect. The new ones, the hardware 4 was. But he said the hardware 3, it's practical. It does the job. It brings it back. I don't pay for gas. And we tried to get a Model 3, but man, demand is so high right now for Tesla. It's crazy. Mm-hmm. People are not, at least in Canada right now. If you want to get a Tesla now, you have to wait until next year to take delivery. Like that's
what?
How, yeah. Like he told me when he was there, a lot of people would come up to him, his friends and stuff. He would say, even though there's so many Teslas already in Toronto and in Canada, he would say, people would still come up to him and ask, he's like, hey, how was a Tesla? How was a self-driving? They would actually ask these questions, or before they never asked these questions. Like, yeah, gas, of course. The 2 reasons why they wanted to buy a Tesla today was number 1, because of course, the self-driving. First, they asked about the self-driving, then they asked about the gas price. Which is because before it was the other way around. Before actually it was just the gas price. Now it's how is it self-driving? I heard it's such a good thing, and then it's the gas price and stuff like that. And so people are now taking note that, man, if I don't have to, and it goes back to what we've been discussing for some time now, that in the next not even 5 years, 2-3 years time, if your car doesn't have any FSD capability, any autonomous capability, you're not selling that car. Period.
That's the problem. And I see that I own a Cybercab all-wheel drive, right? My car's not dropping, depreciating in value that much. I'm getting close to 80,000 trade-in value. Like, why would that be? Because I have full self-driving for life for that car. I'm like, that's some.
You bought your Cybertruck with self-driving for life.
Yeah. So that's probably the reason why the car.
Yes.
I'm not going to sell this car, yo, because I don't have to pay for everything ever again, right?
That's amazing.
So useful, dude.
Now, see, that's something, man. I wish I was in the U.S. I wish I was an American citizen, because you saw the Model S and X. You know how they sold the looks package at the end. Holy, don't have to pay for supercharging. Don't have to pay for FSD. Don't have to, I don't know, 2 other things. Like it was a really good package. I'm just like, this is for 80 grand. I'm like,
are you talking about the final edition thing?
Yes,
Pejjy.
The looks package.
I got invited, but I did not respond.
Why? Oh my God.
That's the biggest mistake of my life. I should have taken the Model X or something. I don't know.
Oh man.
I got invited. I didn't respond. I'm like, oh, should I get it?
Damn.
Yeah, no. And then I missed it. Bad decision.
That was so good for value, because I saw that. I'm like, for Canada, do we get the same deal in Canada? I checked, we don't. And I'm like, because I would have done no, don't have to pay for supercharging, don't have to pay for self-driving, don't have to pay for premium connectivity, and it's just so many things. I'm just like, this is amazing. Like, this is cost savings across everything. Oh, I don't know.
I have a
That
feeling
that was that was
if you drive that final edition for like let's say 10 years, enjoy all the benefit, and by the time you sell the car back, it's still worth 200,000 because it's a collectible. Now it makes me feel bad. And
holy jeez. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like if your car has full self-driving or fully paid for and you don't have to, that people will pay for that. I mean, I don't know if it's transferable, but it's the car, I guess, not the owner, it's the car,
it comes with the
I believe.
car. Yes. Yeah.
Comes with the car. So yeah, people would pay for it big time. And I guess Elon prediction that he mentioned 5, 6 years ago could become true. Your car will appreciate because of self-driving. Let's see, if we're seeing it, if it comes with self-driving already, then that value of the car will be a lot higher than if you got to pay monthly.
I'm not gonna lie, I enjoy full self-driving so much. I have my phone mounted up there, watching my YouTube, listen to podcast, have my burger and drink on the side, press full self-driving. I'm good to go.
Amazing.
I can go. It's just amazing. It changed my life completely. Seriously.
I remember when I tried it for the first time in December of last year. I got a Chipotle bowl eating, and I'm like, if people were looking at me like, what the heck? It was the reactions were amazing to check. But I mean, again, I don't know why other automakers, I think, well, we do know why because of data reasons, but they don't have much time to solve this thing. I think they should just go ahead and self-drive this. They should just license this FSD. I think it's the only. I mean, I don't think NVIDIA is going to come to the rescue, despite how good and how big they claim it to be. I don't think they're going to come to the rescue. I don't think anytime soon, at least. Maybe even the Chinese brands, Xiaomi. I know they're doing what Tesla did like a decade ago.
Right. I think the main reason, if it comes down to one reason, I believe those legacy manufacturer doesn't realize people buying decision will eventually because of whether the car can drive itself or not. I don't think they believe in it yet. If they really believe that people buy the car because of full self-driving, then they're, holy shit, I must do it. But now I don't think they see that as inevitability yet. So, but I think it's inevitability.
I think because I'm seeing a surge on Instagram and TikTok and X of people driving Tesla. They're going like, this thing's amazing. I think this will become a priority for automakers next year. They're going to go like, holy crap, look at Tesla's orders. It's not because of gas prices. Sure, maybe some of it, but it's because of the self-driving. And I'm pretty sure a lot of customers would go to the automaker and say that, listen, I like your car a lot, but it can't self-drive. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
That's me, Pejjy. I told you, for a long time, I want to buy a Porsche GT3. That's my dream car since my teenage time. Manual transmission, beautiful looking. Don't have FSD. Like, if I want to kind of take over because of traffic, I can't do that. So how can I buy it? I can. Basically, I can't. Like, it's so convenient, right? You just press a button and you can dedicate your driving to someone else. It's amazing. Just amazing.
What a world we're going into, but
I'm not saying it because I'm a Tesla shareholder. I'm saying it because I'm a scared driver. Sometimes I don't want to drive. I don't want to use FSD if it's really not ready. But to me, I use it every day now. I'm like, dude, it's freaking ready.
When I'm back in Toronto, when I get lucky and I do rent out a hardware floor, I do just let the thing ride itself. I never do. Now, of course, I'm in Kuwait here. I mean, there's no such thing here yet. But I mean, Emirates is getting close in approving Tesla's FSD. I'm seeing a lot of signs going on there. Of course, we're waiting for Europe. I'm not too sure why other EU countries are not approving yet. We have 5. That should be at least 10 by now, or sometime, anytime soon. But the voting is in October, so 2 months' time. So let's see what happens. Let's see what happens to that. And I really hope, they approve it, because a lot of their citizens are saying approve it, because they're seeing their neighbors going like, yeah, the Holland, they're having a good time. We have, Lithuania and Belgium and all these other countries that approved it. They're kind of getting a little bit jealous. So envying them.
So Pejjy, going back to a full circle with this conversation, now we know that FSD is real. It's a fundamental change of driving experience. Not even driving experience, riding experience. So it's just a matter of how soon Tesla can monetize and commercialize at scale to make the most of this technology, right? It could be this year, it could be worst case, maybe next year or the year after. But the question is, as an investor, do you want to miss this like opportunity of a lifetime? It could be delayed. Yes, Tesla can, have a freaking stupid earning call. Elon can, can screw it up again in the earning call. But with all that said, FSD is still amazing and it will go commercialized. That's my fundamental belief. And that's why I still stay invested. And if they can do this technology so well, the next one is going to be Optimus, potentially with more computing power from SpaceX. So we'll see.
Yep. And I think for when it comes to topic of Optimus, I think that's already going to be merged with SpaceX. Just saying it right now. Sheesh. Awesome. Thank you, Joseph, for joining me. This was a very fun podcast and very informative one. And I really hope a lot of Tesla investors listen to this and they see the longer picture, the bigger picture here, and don't get too upset on what's going on, because it's really, yes, I think Elon, his timelines is really upsetting majority of investors or majority of recent investors, but I don't think it's intentional, nor do I think, he's doing this on purpose. I think that there are real challenges. I don't think they're sandbagging. I think these are, harder challenges than, for example, making a AI compute and renting it out. I'm just saying that right now. That's a whole lot easier doing than having a bunch of robots driving in unpredictable conditions. I think that's tough to do, especially without a steering wheel and pedal. But that's coming along faster than anyone can imagine right now, in my opinion. We're already in majority of a lot of states, especially the populated ones. And we're getting permits here and there. So I think we just need to step back a little bit, look at what's going on. And for crying out loud, man, look at the demand right now with Tesla. It's insane. It's crazy. It's, backlog since 2023. The earliest delivery is next year. Like, come on, man. And you got FSD growing at the same time. Like, this is the time where maybe next earnings report won't be strong, or the next few ones won't be strong, but the next few years would be strong, given that we haven't merged with SpaceX yet, right? But yeah. So I hope this calmed you down, gave you more calmness and more sort of emotions, more logic to it. And thank you, Joseph, for joining me on this, because I think this will help a lot of investors.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. I'll see you guys. Make sure you guys follow him. All the links and stuff down in the description below. Of course, I'm a follower. Has some very interesting stuff. And I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.